Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine,
Why Not? A queer podcast.
episode 102. Ooh. I got to get the cadence down for the three-digit. Yeah.
And I got nothing on 102.
I Googled right before we came in here. I was like, ugh, what if he asked me about 102? I'm going to have something. 102 is not a very exciting number. However, I did find a fun little fact. 102 is the emergency phone number for certain services in different countries. So I'll read through the few that I found.
We will find some shit to talk about any number.
So if you are ever in the countries of Belarus, Ukraine, or Azerbaijan, if you dial 102, you will get the police department. If you are
Do you
ever
think that's still the case right now?
Oh, probably not in Ukraine. If you dial 102 in Israel, you'll get the fire department. And if you dial 102 in the Maldives or certain parts of India, I don't know which parts, you will get an ambulance sent to your house.
Do you think that the Israeli fire department looks anything like the Israeli military?
I don't know, but let's just say I don't speak Israeli, but I would buy their calendar.
Those calendars. I'll tell you what, too. If I lived there and that was the case, I'd be dialing 102 all the time.
Yeah. So that's all I could find on 102.
Well, that's good. That's interesting.
Yeah. Fun
Look
fact.
at us. Fun fact.
If
You know, I always find that usually
like, and
when
we'll talk
people...
about this in a minute. I feel like we should notify the Golden Globes and explain to them what a fun fact is.
Oh, you didn't like this.
I would have liked them if they were actual fun facts or trivia.
see
They were
that?
so stupid. What did you do?
I'm trying to adjust this microphone, right? So I loosened this. Hold on.
And it
Sorry,
fell down.
for those who are watching, this will be way more interesting. And
See, I was trying to fill the space because I noticed you were over there doing some kind of
I was
construction.
futzing. So I did this thing where I loosened it, right? Like,
Yeah.
here we go. Oh, that's tighten. I'm going to strip it. There we go. So I loosened it, and then I raised it, right? And then I tightened it. And then I let it go, and it fell right back down to where it was. So, anyway, I'll just lean like this. I just don't like the way I'm
You just
hunched
got
over.
slouch.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
102.
Oh, yes.
102. You know, I will
102
say,
jams.
when I
Caitlin breaking out
Googled
102
it,
jams.
The only thing that came up other than the emergency numbers was a shit ton of radio stations across the country. There are so many 102s around this country that people listen to. 102 Jams, 102 Magic, 102 Christian Rock.
Do you know Magic 107.7?
That's
Here?
my station. I listen to that.
If you drive to St. Pete and leave it on that, it will be a Spanish channel when you get there.
I did know that actually because that's my radio station that I listen to, which just flipped the switch back to
I know. We
regular
kind
music.
of were talking about the Golden Globes for a hot second, which we'll get into in a minute. We'll get into it. I was just trying to think of what we were talking about before Caitlin was
The new
laughing at me
Globes.
and it got interrupted. Anyway, so here we are, episode 102. We are just several weeks away from our 2-year anniversary. Isn't that crazy? We're not doing anything for it.
No, we're not one of those couples who
You
are
know what
like,
we
oh my
should
God,
do?
it's our 90-day anniversary. Let's talk.
We should because at our 1-year anniversary,
Yes.
we did an evaluation of our first show.
Did we?
Yeah.
I
And
don't remember.
so what we should do,
reevaluate our 1-year anniversary show because I don't remember it.
or someone should buy you Prevagen.
You're not wrong.
I mean, it's a land. I mean, now we are a couple. I feel like that's a landmark occasion. Our 1-year episode. I never remember
That
what we
is.
did. Does this mean nothing to you?
Listen, it has been a long, rough year.
Are you just trying to hurt me? Anyway, I think what we should
I will
do.
make it up to you on our third.
What we should do is for our 2-year anniversary is we should evaluate our 1-year anniversary show where we evaluated our first show.
I'll go back and listen to that because it is not in my head right now. But there's so many things already dancing around up there.
Every second of every day.
I'm sure once I listen to it, I'll be like, oh, I remember that.
I can't wait until I get a little bit older and start forgetting a lot of stuff.
You know, we should, because on our first show, we talked about the first season of The Last of Us and the first season of Velma. So we'll wait for the second season of The Last of Us. But we should do a show where when that show comes out, we talk about the second season of both. I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're
gonna
gonna
have the same opinion that I had of the first.
I thought you
seasons.
didn't want to watch Velma.
Oh, I don't.
Did those words come out of my face? I thought.
Let's go
Anyway,
back to the Globes. Wait, you're slurring of the speech there. We'll get into it with the Globes, but just remind me, Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah. You know what? I gotta say, I didn't know if like some of these big celebrities were nervous or are they just older because somebody
Kathy Bates
had a
this is a
thing
fun
going
game.
on. Yeah. Somebody had a thing going on, and I was just like, I don't know because I watch Matlock.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't.
She
I think
do
she's
that.
nervous in front of crowds.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, you get
I
the
hope
shakes.
she's anxious.
Well,
all
no,
the
what I
time.
mean is like, because if not, then it might mean that she's got
yeah.
Parkinson's or something, or that
She did have that shit. Well, I mean,
it was her jaw was shaking the whole time.
It's also, honestly, I think with her it was a nerves thing, but my mother gets the tremors sometimes, and she's been evaluated, and it's just something that happens as you age.
I think so. Yeah,
You just
that's
get
why I
tremors,
think
yeah.
that might be that.
It might just be that.
Yeah, try to. I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out because sometimes I know that they are forced to listen to this podcast when they are in a car with a friend of mine. But someone's mother, you can't ask her to take a photo for you because it's like
It's all over the place.
it'd be a little blurry.
Don't make me laugh at this.
It is. Listen, here's the deal. It's gonna be us one day, so it's
gonna
not.
be
It's not a
me.
laughing matter. You know, that's a thing too. Let me say something to the Utes.
Yeah.
You know, or like even people who aren't Utes. You like I think it's real funny when somebody has to pull a phone 5 feet away from their face to be able to read it. Well, that's gonna happen to you one day, and you are not gonna find it funny.
It's going to be infuriating. Taking your glasses on and off because you're not sure what depth you can read at on any given day. It's frustrating.
I
Aging
forget
sucks.
what I was doing the other day. I was looking at something, but somebody who hadn't been around. Kathleen was here, right? Because Kathleen, who used to be our business manager, she's coming back to cover for the cruise that I'm gonna go on, and she's gonna do some things around the office that we need to get done. And I was just refreshing her on how things go because she hasn't been here for 3 years. And I was like, oh, I wear readers now, and I put them on the tip of my nose, and I wear them like this, and I don't give a shit. And she just laughed. But you know, anyway.
Did she like your Potter frames?
I don't know if I had them with me. I think I left them, and because I don't have them here today, so I didn't have those. No, I did show them to her. I was very excited about them, and I think she liked them. I don't remember. Who are you?
Where am I?
I guess I don't have to get older. I've already forgotten things. That's great.
It happens.
Anyway, aside from the things that the Golden Globes and all that,
Yes.
How was your week?
My week was very tame. It was New Year's week, and
Isn't that insane?
I know.
It seems like New Year's Eve was 3 weeks ago.
It does. I don't know what's happened over the last, but I think that 2 week period of Christmas and New Year's, I feel like that throws everybody off. It always feels super long, but not long enough.
Yeah.
But we're first week of the new year, get going.
I know, and I just said I need a vacation.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just
just came
worked.
off of
We just kind of worked 2-3 day weeks.
And you know what? And I don't know if you feel this way. Normal weeks go by at a normal pace. Shortened weeks, for some reason, when you're at work on a shortened week, those days feel so long.
Now, when you say normal, do you mean heterosexual weeks?
I mean a nuclear family, a mom and a dad week.
And a white picket fence. Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Because
Monday
really,
through Friday.
weeks need both a mother and a father.
That they
don't
do. That they do. No, but I spent New Year's Eve alone. I'm not a big New Year's Eve guy. Like, I'm not, I got to go out and party. So I just spent it at home. I watched CNN, even though I can't stand Anderson and Andy.
I'm so excited that you watched it because I want to talk about it.
I like Anderson. I just don't like who he hangs out with.
I can dig Anderson a bit. It's funny because he'll do some shots and then he gets giggly.
Giggle. Oh, I do love his giggle. His giggle will make me forgive a lot.
Yeah. Like, well, I'll talk about this now, so I don't have to get into it, really. But when Diplo was on and admitted that he was tripping, Anderson Cooper was just giggling like crazy. He's like, I can't believe it. It's so naughty.
There are no rules on CNN during New Year's Eve.
There
are no laws. There are no rules.
My favorite thing about it, have you watched it? But you don't have to watch it to have known what's happened to previous people on the show.
Yeah. I watch it begrudgingly because what am I going to watch? Ryan Seacrest? Fuck that guy.
You can't throw a wig without hitting a Ryan Seacrest show. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like
he's everywhere, and I just need him not to be in my New Year's Eve.
So. Yeah, as long as he stays away from Paramount and first responder shows, I'm golden.
And see, even CBS does like that Nashville thing, and I'm like, I'm all
I watched that
by New Year's Eve.
I watched that last year, and Brooks and Dunn was on it, and let me tell you, I have loved me some Brooks and Dunn, but they did not sound good on that show. So, but I think that was the year also that Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton did a thing. Yeah. That was kind of cool. So anyway, so the Diplo thing was funny, but then they had, I guess there's some game show or something that's on CNN.
It's a game show, talk show.
Okay. Right. There's a couple, there's like people who always play, kind of like Jimmy Fallon, kind of a thing where he's got, when he's always a guest on that.
Yeah. And it's
password show.
Former Daily Show people and one of the guys from Kids in the Hall.
So, yes. Yeah. Who was so awkward during that interview. But when they asked the guy that's like the host of it if he wanted to do a shot, and he was like, no, I saw what happened to the last black man who got drunk on this show. And that cracked me up. Apparently he's got his own thing now. He's like got a podcast.
Well, he's got a podcast, and he's also got he went the way of
Matt Gaetz.
No, the guy. He's also got a show now.
I know.
The guy Tucker Carlson. It's where it's just on Twitter.
Oh, okay. I heard he was like going nuts, going off on people who voted for Trump.
He
recently.
He does a man on the street kind of interview thing
because he can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah. So it's his man on the streets is just him walking his dog in New York City, interviewing people, and then being absolutely disgusted with their answers.
I need to watch this.
It's enjoyable. His clips come up on my TikTok a lot. And it is an unhinged Don Lemon is actually quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I bonded with you though on New Year's Eve, even though you weren't near me.
We were there.
Yeah, because medically. I have found. How many times have I pointed out that I hate the way that I look sitting in this chair?
It probably doesn't help that you've got a button on each nipple.
My nipples are down here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gravity has taken hold.
Look.
It's okay. Mine are down here.
We can trade jabs at each other if you want. What was I saying? Oh, he would talk about things that happened in the year that he loved, and I hated all of them.
Yeah.
Andy Cohen. And so I was bonding with you and like, oh yeah, man, I wouldn't.
He's a horrible person.
I don't know. I'd probably, if he wasn't being the guy who does the Housewives thing, then I probably would like to have dinner with him and Anderson. That sounds like it would be kind of cool, but maybe not.
That sounds exhausting.
Because he's like, he loves Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good show. It just, the things he loved about it were, to me, the things that made it not Sunset Boulevard. So
I would be interested to hear your conversation with him on that.
Well, I'm imagining he would probably just tell me to shut the fuck up.
That sounds like him. No, my favorite thing was they had Ray Fiennes on, and him doing the dramatic reading of the very demure TikTok. That was just the best thing. Such a talented actor, Ray Fiennes. I believe that was him in the TikTok.
How are you like this primetime news guy? And you don't know shit about pop culture.
Right?
I mean...
I feel like a lot of that's an act.
Oh, I did appreciate this, though. I did agree with Andy Cohen on this. which again will come up one more time during this particular podcast. But he said that I think that The Bear is a comedy more than a drama. And then they all held up to disagree things. And then Anderson's like, I don't know what The Bear is.
Guy's an idiot sometimes. Yeah, I don't know if it was the drinking or if that's just his shtick during New Year's Eve. But yeah, when it comes to pop culture, he gets real dumb on that show. And I'm like, come on, dude.
He should probably host Pop Culture Jeopardy.
Yeah, I would.
And just every time he asks a question, and
like,
that's okay. I didn't know either.
I mean, he would literally be asking them as questions.
It wouldn't be a game show.
No.
It would just be him trying to figure out what's on TV.
He'd be like, The Bear is a comedy? But other than that, I spent New Year's Day taking my tree down and taking apart my Christmas Legos. And it everything, whenever you get a Christmas tree up and you got lights up and you take it down, the house just looks
empty
and sad. Like, here we go again. Another year.
Yeah. And then you put it up and then you're
lights.
like, but then you'll go to put it up again next year and you're like, I don't have room for anything.
Yeah.
And then you take it down and you're like,
my
life is empty.
Bare.
It's just sad.
Ugh. Anyway, that was my entire week. I took the tree and the Legos down. And then I just sat there. This might also help with the sadness this past week. But then I just vegged out and I've watched nothing but Law & Order SVU for a week. I am up to season 12. Like, I go to bed with Law & Order. I wake up with Law & Order.
Can't do it.
It is all that is on my TV when I am home these past couple weeks.
I go to bed to Law & Order and I wake up to infomercials because I watch it on Sling. And it's the real one.
Oh. I hate to, I mean, I know you call it the real one, but this one, SVU, has been on longer than the real one.
It's at least it's not. Can we all agree that it's not criminal intent?
Oh God. I mean, and I love Vincent D'Onofrio, but come on.
Yeah. Wasn't he the Roach Man in Men in Black?
Yeah.
That's what he always will be to me.
Yeah. He's also the guy in Full Metal Jacket in the beginning who ends up killing himself in basic training. Yeah. Anyway, how was your week?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, New Year's was interesting. You know, like, I like people to be over, and I like to be a thing at the house, and I like to eat crappy junk food, and I like to like ring in the new year and watch that and have a fire and put the big screen up outside and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and usually I like to, I'll just admit this. I like to do that in Orlando. I just do, right? Because then I'm with Jen, and I like to talk to Jen. But Dylan wanted to be in St. Pete, and it was the St. Pete days, so I was there in St. Pete. We had two friends of ours come over, and we had dinner, which was great. They're lovely. We have a great time. They're going on the cruise that we're going on in a couple weeks. And
are these friends you had over yours and Jen's moms?
No.
Oh.
Jen's mom's not going on the cruise.
Oh.
So no, it was Dylan's friend Tina and her fiance.
Oh, I didn't know Tina was going on the cruise.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying. I was like,
oh, okay.
Your mom and your brother?
No, and so they came over and we had a great time. But we ate healthy taco bowls made with like 99% fat-free turkey, and instead of rice, I made cauliflower rice to go. So we made these taco bowls.
That's what I had for lunch today.
Oh, really?
A taco bowl with cauliflower rice.
I bet you've got to have my cauliflower rice that I make. It's so delicious. So anyway, so it was like a 0-point dinner, which is not what New Year's Eve is. I was like, what do you guys want? Do you want like pigs in a blanket?
Let's have a wonderful snack for New Year's Eve. It's 0 points.
Yeah. And I was like, we could make pizzas, or we could do because I see all these things where you take like grands and you put them in a thing and then you just pour like cream cheese and chicken and deliciousness all over it and bake it, and then you have these dipping things. None of that. It was like, and I get it. We're going on a cruise in a couple of weeks. You just want to start the cruise with some sort of a pool body, right? So we're like, okay. So we ate healthy, and then about 10 o'clock they left, which is fine. They were always going to leave early, but I went outside and I lit a fire and I was watching the things on the big screen. And I went back inside and Dylan was asleep. And I sat there. So I stopped watching it, actually. I started watching episodes of Picard because I was on the last season of Picard. And I was like, okay. And then at 10:45, I'm like, oh, I guess I better switch back over. And so I switched back over. And then, like, I guess when the noise of the TV switched over, Dylan woke up. And so we said Happy New Year's, ate a bowl of black eyed peas, kissed, he went to bed. I stayed up and watched a couple more episodes of Picard because I was like, it was like different. I feel like I spent New Year's Eve alone, even though I wasn't. And then, so it was weird. Jen was able to have a good time though. She had some
what did
people
Jen
over.
end up doing?
She had some people over. Her mom came over, and then her sister came over the next day, so they had a good time. But it was fine.
Nice.
I really liked Picard. I'm surprised because I didn't like the Next Generation series. And the things I didn't like about it are the things that are in the show. So like all of season 2 is about Q. And I just thought Q was like, do you understand what that means?
No.
Oh,
I know
okay.
Q
Do you?
from James Bond.
Never mind then. It's just this like figure that's a god and can do anything. And so he just plays games with them and they try to like with their lives and their ships blow up and all this and they almost die all the time. And he's just like, snap fingers, never mind, it all went away. And I'm like, well, that's lame. That's like that's like that Dallas episode where the guy's like, oh, it was a dream.
Oh yeah.
I just
the
find
old
that
dream.
I find that lame. So anyway, the whole second season is about this character and him screwing with everybody. And then the third season is all about the Borg, and I was like, oh god, come on, y'all. I thought it's so weird because you're never gonna watch this, right? So I'm gonna spoil this for you. So you know what the Borg is? It's like the assimilated robot humanoid things that take over.
I remember in the 90s the Next Generation movie. I can't remember what it was, the title, but
Locucius
Nemesis or something. But it was the Borg, and the only thing I remember is from the trailer was the top half of the Borg lady being lowered into her like robot body.
Yes.
And that's all I know.
Yeah. So I'm so going off the rails here to tell you about this. But so you watched a Newsroom, right?
Yeah.
You know the girl that like the one reporter, the blonde hair, curly hair, blonde. She
in the beginning?
Yeah.
The one who's dating.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of their names. It's
now,
been a while.
the
show's
dating
been
the
off
guy,
for a while.
That's dating the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
the guy that's the associate producer.
She kind of has a big forehead.
Yes. So she's in this, but she's like this nerdy loner.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole thing where they've got the Borg queen captured and she's disconnected from all the Borg and there's nothing going on in her life and so somehow she and this girl end up like meshing together and she's like, we're gonna destroy the world, but the human girl was like, no, we can use our powers for good and we can make people want to be in the Borg and we can do good for the world and have people volunteer instead of just assimilate them and all this kind of stuff. And so they're like, oh, that might work. And so that's what they do. And that's what the Borg becomes, right? This is the end of season 2. This is the whole big finale is like, oh my God, look at this new thing. It's great. And then you go into season 3, you find out Picard has a son. And because Picard was once Borg, the kid's genes are Borg. And then the kid's like, I'm going to be evil Borg. And you're like, what? I thought we resolved this.
Picard was a Borg?
Yeah, in that movie that you were just describing.
I just saw the trailer.
Yeah, he got he was assimilated into the Borg, but he got broke free of it.
Good for him.
Anyway, this is not a Star Trek podcast, so we may move on from this. What did you do? Anything else?
No. Back to Picard.
Oh my God! Did I tell you what I learned too? So we all know I'm 49, and in a couple of weeks, actually a week from tomorrow, I turn 50.
Yeah.
So I was watching these things and Picard, and they made some reference to the beginning of the time, or they showed a picture of them from the beginning because like all the people from the Next Generation came on, and I was like, I wonder how old he is in that because he looks like a grandfather.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I looked it up. Do you know how old Patrick Stewart was in the first episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation?
I feel like you told me this already, but I want to say it's like the mid 30s.
47.
47. Ah.
So he was 3 years younger than I'll be in a week. Isn't that crazy? I did not feel like I looked that old. I mean,
People
he does look a lot
aged differently back in the 80s and 90s. which I believe is what I said when you told me this the last time.
Yeah, I know.
Having major deja vu. Did we talk about this on the last podcast?
No, we didn't. We talked about it. No, because it was after New Year's Eve that you and I talked about it. I don't know if you're aware of this, but sometimes I pretend like we haven't had conversations so that we can have them on the podcast because I find them interesting.
See, I forget. I forget those conversations, so I just assume this is the first time we're having a lot of them.
I didn't do much else, but I do want to give a shout out. I went and saw Ain't Too Proud at the Straz.
Oh.
Let me give a shout out to the Straz, by the way, who put us in row E. It was so good. It's such a good show. Did you see it when it was here?
I did not, no.
You know, I wish people would go see this. I don't think
not,
it was.
And we've had this talk before, but I'm not a huge fan of jukebox
Right,
musicals.
and I get that, and I'm not either. You know, like the Cher show. I think I got an email about that's going to the Straz. No, thank you. Don't need to see that. The Billy Joel one. Moving on. That's not. No, there's so many of them that aren't worth going to see.
Yeah. The Neil Diamond one, I think is.
I think
coming.
I'm going to see that.
Yeah, you.
Because I'm like Neil Diamond.
You should go see that.
I would go see a Barry
You should take
Manilow
Jen
one.
with you.
Oh, I'm Jen. She's gonna be like, oh, tell Jeremy he can go to that one. Tell your brother to keep the day open. So, it's really great. It's about the life of the Temptations.
Yeah.
And it's when you watch the Cher show, you remember how they were talking about all the trauma in her life, and we were kind of like, but it didn't seem
Not
like
super
they didn't
traumatic.
really get into any trauma in her life.
Yeah.
So maybe she did. They just didn't portray it
Yeah,
really well.
she recently released her biography, and I was reading some reviews on it.
They say her childhood was insane.
And all the reviews I was reading about it were, how traumatic her childhood was. I was like, why didn't they cover that in the show?
Yeah, they didn't cover it in the
just
show.
kind of brushed over it.
I think they just wanted to make a lighthearted, fun.
Yeah.
And they're just going to say, oh,
I'll
I had
probably read the
trauma when I was a
biography.
kid. Let's move on. We should read the Cher book.
We should.
So anyway, it's about the Temptations, and like it's just about this group and how like fame really just destroyed them, and how they went from nothing, and it's just so interesting to me. Like the story is interesting, and then like all these songs are great, and there's this guy in the cast who played Paul. Sorry, I didn't look up your name, Paul. So I just call you Paul. But if you're listening, because I know you're all like on the tour right now, like,
Hey, Paul.
oh hey, let's see what's out there to listen to. You were great. He could dance, and I watched him dance the whole time. I was about to say sing, but it wasn't that. He can sing too. Don't get me wrong. But they were incredible singers. Now this wasn't as pristine as I remember it being the last time. But it was super good. Anyway, it's on tour now through July, so just look up Ain't Too Proud tour, and it'll tell you all the dates. I think it's done in Florida, but it's traveling all over the place. So go see it. It is worth it. You know how you can tell if a show's popular or not when you go to see it here or at
the
Stress?
lines,
The
crowds,
that too. The cost of parking.
Oh.
And so when we pulled up to parking and it was $15, I was like, we're probably going to get good seats because there's not a lot. Usually, if it's like Hamilton, it'd be $30 to park,
yeah.
but this is $15. So we knew it wasn't going to be very crowded. Anyway, so that was really good. I just wanted to say a couple of other things. I started watching Good Girls. Have you watched this?
Good
Have you
Girls?
heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the little girl from Hope Floats, right? She grew up to be an adult actress.
Good for her.
She was in Parenthood. She played the daughter of the lady that was in Gilmore Girls. If you saw her face, you would know her. I just don't know her name. Anyway, she's in it, and she in the show, she and her sister, and they have this friend who are all down on their luck, so they rob the grocery store that the girl I was just describing that she works in, and then they end up in this whole life crime. And it's really fascinating. It's a really good show. I've only watched like part of the first season, but I'm really a fan of it. So I started watching that. Tried to watch Squid Games.
Yeah.
Have you started that?
I haven't.
I started watching
I
it.
loved the first season.
Yeah, I did too. I've heard the second season's not getting great reviews.
Yeah. I haven't read any great reviews on it.
But I started watching it, and then Dylan goes, I don't want to do this right now because you get caught reading even though it's dubbed.
Yeah.
You get caught reading it, and I do that because the dub and the captions aren't the same. And it cracks me up. Like, why aren't they the same?
I think it's two different companies that do it. Like, you all do the voices, we're going to type it out, and then we'll compare notes. but they don't compare. They just throw them up.
And then I just want to point out that I've started watching season 3 of For the Love of Dilfs. I'm not going to make you watch it and talk about it on the podcast. I'm just going to say it is deliciously obnoxious. It's so obnoxious and bad, and I just love it. So anyway, if you're listening and you like, watch the show, and we will not talk about it, but we will know that we've both watched it and we've enjoyed hating it.
I'll take a look at the first episode.
You're not gonna make it past the first 15 seconds because it opens with this ridiculous, like they clearly rented this really expensive sports car. They're in a new house, right?
Yeah.
So it's this huge house, and she's driving up, and all the other dills or the himbos from the other seasons are wearing Speedos and bouncing their junk on the car and all this kind of stupidity. It's so grossly great. Anyway, so there's all that. I just want to talk about one more thing. I have 5 seconds. I got an early birthday present. Oh, time's up. I can't.
Yeah, go ahead.
It arrives Wednesday, we think. But have you heard of the Meta Ray-Bans?
The Meta Ray-Bans? No.
Yeah, so they're these sunglasses. They're Ray-Ban sunglasses that have a camera on them and speakers on the back of the what are the ear handle thingies, whatever.
The earpieces?
Earpieces. And so you have these glasses on, and then you can ask Meta, which is sort of just their AI, to do shit. So it'll work with your phone. So you can say, Meta, call Jeremy, and it'll call you, and I can talk to you and hear you through the things. It'll play music. Those are like the typical things. You get a phone call, you just click the glasses, you get the phone call, and you don't have to have earphones in or anything like that. It just plays in the back there. So that's just the kind of stuff that you would expect it to do. But then it just does crazy shit. Like you can say, what am I looking at? And it'll tell you if it's like a flower or a plant, it'll go into stuff about that. Or a building, if you're into architecture, then you can say like, oh, who made this building? And it'll tell you. You could also say like, I haven't seen anybody use this, but I'm assuming that you can just be on a street. If you're walking around, you're in a town that you're not familiar with, and you can just say, where am I? And how do I get to this place? Yeah. And then it'll say, walk down the block, turn right, So that's all kind of cool. But so I watched this video where this guy said, I'm going to use this in every aspect of my life today. So he wakes up and he says, what's the temperature? Tells him the temperature. So he's like, okay, pulls out a pair of jeans and says, based on the temperature and these jeans, what shirt should I wear with these? And it's like, oh, you should wear a muted tone or whatever with this, but something that's going to be light because it's going to be warm outside. And then he goes to his refrigerator and he pulls out like 5 things and sets them on the table. And he says, Meta, what can I make with these ingredients? And it tells him a couple of options. And he's like, okay, how do I make this? And then it gives him step-by-step instructions on how to make something. And he goes shopping and he looks at something and he's like, is $15 a good price for this? And, and then it tells you what the average price is.
Meta says, no. Buy it from Facebook.
So anyway, it's pretty cool.
Interesting. Sounds a bit Black Mirror-ish to me, but I'm interested to hear.
It does, doesn't it? And I hope it's not like something that's like faddish where I'm like, oh, this is really cool for like a week and then I don't ever use it. Them. But I got them with transition lenses.
So you can wear them in and out.
Yeah. I mean, it's just also things that it'll do. Say I could put them on and I can go to the Spanish tab on our website and I can say, Meta, translate this, and it'll translate. It'll read me what is on there, but it'll read it in English. Or if I wanted to see it, or like say you're in a foreign country and you're like
looking at menus
and you're looking or like a street sign and you're like, hey, what does this sign say? It'll translate it for you. And it'll live translate. So if somebody's talking to you, you can say, translate what they're saying, and it'll translate it. It's crazy, right? I'm very excited about it.
Very nice. A certain director could have used that last night at the Golden Globes.
Oh, right?
By the way, your friend Paul, his name is Bryce Vale.
Yes.
Bryce Vale.
Yeah, he was really good. And he was wearing a wig, so I couldn't tell who he was. I had to look at what character he played because I'm like, I don't see him on here. Because he's obviously doesn't have hair
in real life.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was like, hey, let's talk about our weeks real short so that we can fit in the Golden Globes. And I just went on and on and on. So my apologies if this goes too long. But Golden Globes were last night.
Golden Globes were last
So
night.
I figure we should talk about it because it was gay, right? I mean, there was
There's
good
quite a
gay.
bit of gay. Quite a bit of gay.
It's so interesting to see. I remember a time when you're watching award shows like this, and there would be like one gay person winning one award or something.
Well, one out gay person.
Right. That's what. Yeah. But now it's just
Now
so
they're
it's
all
normalized
out.
in there, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's the first major award show of the year. So this kind of sets the pace for what we're going to see at the Oscars, the SAGs, the BAFTA, all that.
You probably don't get confused because you watch all these award shows. I was so confused last night because something would be nominated and win, and I would say, didn't that win last year? But it won the Emmy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it wouldn't have been.
And you weren't the only one who was confused. When Jodie Foster won and Sofia Vergara, which I thought was a joke, and then the longer it went, I was like, I think she really is pissed that she didn't win because she kind of threw a little hissy about not winning. And I guess she mouthed something, and I was reading that somebody wrote that she wrote, come on, she won last year or something. But I was like, how would she have won last year? Because you're both in limited series. But it was the Emmys that she was referring to.
I thought I heard her say, can I win just one? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, can I just get one of the awards? I didn't know that she was confused. But in her defense, and in my defense, even the Golden Globes are confused because they still think The Bear's a comedy.
Yeah, they sure did.
And I said that in a very nice way since our guest from a couple of episodes ago said I was very angry last year.
A little bit, but that's okay. There was a lot of confusion on some of the categories. A lot of the comedy and musicals nominated. Well, not the musicals, but a lot of the comedies. People were like, "How is that a comedy?"
Holy shit! I mean, the anything nominated for favorite movie, comedy, or musical. I mean, Demi Moore won.
Demi Moore won
for The Substance in
Yes.
favorite comedy or musical.
Yes. Have you seen The Substance?
It's not a comedy.
Have you seen it?
No, is it a comedy?
It's a horror film, but
Right.
it's a satirical horror comedy.
Oh, okay.
There are some parts of it that are fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay. Everything that they
and
show from it
one of
looks
the
like
best
it's not.
movies I've seen.
I'm
going
gonna
to
see it.
year. It
I
is
wrote-
so good.
I did write down 2 movies that I need to see and 2 shows that I have to watch, but I have to see The Brutalist.
Yes, The Brutalist.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. It hasn't been released. It's only been in New York and LA up until next week.
Do you think there's
17th.
anything gay about it?
Not that I have
That's
heard.
too bad.
However, it is over 3.5 hours long and has a 15-minute intermission in it.
I'm all right with that.
Which apparently people really appreciate the intermission.
That sounds like 2 buckets of popcorn to me.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
But yeah, so The Brutalist comes out and a lot of people online were like, I haven't seen any of these movies. A lot of, particularly the smaller ones, they get released limited to like New York and LA so that they can qualify, and then they get wide releases in January.
Well, and probably nobody would go see it if it didn't win an award first.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like,
that's
I
the
mean,
case
you
with a lot
think,
of them.
like that guy said, his speech, he's like, nobody wants to go see a 3.5 hour long movie. But it turns out it works.
Yeah.
But you need it to win an award and people to talk about it enough for you to say, oh, I should see this.
Yeah, I mean, even at that point, a lot of people aren't going to sit in a theater for 4 hours for a movie. They'll wait for it to come on video so they can watch it at home. But it was hosted by Nikki Glaser, who I love. I think she's hilarious. Do you have any particular jokes from her monologue that you really enjoyed?
I will say that if we end up talking about this for a long time, then we can just save the movie for the next time, and we can just cover the Golden Globes. If we'll play it by ear, right?
All right.
But I started making notes about the red carpet. I know you don't watch the red carpet, but I do, and I just want to point out that I am a huge fan of Selena Gomez. Right? She gets shit on a lot, right?
I don't know her personal life.
From the you like Belgian chocolate? I think that she I feel like she gets a lot of internet hate.
Yeah.
And so she just addressed it in the thing. And I was watching it on E, which is usually hosted by Laverne Cox,
Who is stepped down from it.
Okay,
Yes.
I was very confused because her picture was on the icon that I clicked on to watch it, and then it wasn't
She
her.
announced that she wasn't doing it anymore.
Oh, okay. But she just has this great attitude, and somebody asked her a question about how she handles all of it, because I guess people were like making fun of her performance in Amelia Perez. And
a lot of the criticism is coming from the Latin community and Mexicans in general about that. I don't speak Spanish, so I can't speak to this, but people who speak Spanish say that her Spanish is atrocious in the movie. And I guess when it was addressed with the director, who is French, he said, I'm not that concerned about getting the culture, and I'm paraphrasing here. He said in an interview, I'm not concerned about getting the culture correct. I'm concerned about getting the story right. And that pissed a lot of people off in Mexico. They're like, if you can't get the culture right, then don't tell stories about Mexico. So that's where a lot of the heat is coming. I don't know if you were scrolling through social media at all during the Golden Globes, but there were a lot of people pissed off that Amelia Perez was winning awards, specifically for the director's comments.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't speak Spanish, so I'll not say anything about that.
Yeah.
Except to say that Amelia Perez is a great movie.
I think it's a great movie, too. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know how Selena Gomez's Spanish was.
Do you watch... Okay, you don't watch these, so I'll just say it like this, right? And I know that... I get, right? Maybe the way that was said probably wasn't the best way to say something. Like, I don't care about the culture.
Now, again, that was probably translated from French, and I don't speak French either.
So, let's imagine that you are a paramedic, right? Because I have a friend who's a paramedic, and I just found out that she's a paramedic. I went to high school with her, and so I took her to see Cyndi Lauper, and she was telling me she's a paramedic, and I was like, oh my God. Let me ask you a question. I was like, do you watch Chicago Fire or Chicago Med or any show about first responders? And she's like, no. She's like, because I can't stand it because none of it's accurate. It's so far from what's really like that, the things that they do, they're like, no one would ever do that. And so, I mean, I get that show is probably more interested in getting the storyline right than getting the.
But I mean, I wouldn't compare someone's profession to an entire culture.
Right. I mean, I'm not comparing them to that.
I get the frustration that a French guy is making a movie about Mexican culture, and doesn't seem at all concerned about whether he's getting Mexican culture correct or not. I can see the frustration.
Right, I can as well. But isn't there not some confusion in the idea that of a French film wins a Golden Globe for a non-English speaking movie that is in Spanish? I find that also interesting.
I have no idea what you just said.
That's what I'm saying. I
lost you about halfway through.
So a French guy makes a film in Spanish that wins a non-English speaking award. I just find that interesting because it's a French film.
Yes.
About Mexico.
Yeah.
Winning an award, highlighting the fact that it's not American. All weird to me.
Yes.
So anyway, all of that to say that I like Selena Gomez, and I think that
I do find her delightful.
I think she looks great. I think that she looked great last night, and I think
fabulous.
That she has a lot of class.
I think she also is a shining example that it is all about the personality, because I saw her fiance.
Holy shit. So you asked me.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I would expect that if I showed up to the Golden Globes announcing that me and Jonathan Bailey were engaged, I expect the internet's going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You must have a great personality, Jeremy.
mean, he did dress up, though, because I saw pictures of him before. One of the greater jokes that were made by Nikki Glaser was, and she said that she was there because she was nominated for 2 different projects that she was working on, and that her fiance was there because the genie granted him that one wish. And that cracked me up.
And when they cut to her and you could see the look on her face, she's like, yeah.
No,
Good joke, Nikki Glaser.
I feel like I've watched her mouth the words, and there it is.
Yeah.
Because she knew. And I think
You knew it
that
was
maybe her comments in the beginning, too, on the red carpet about social media were about people
Also,
trashing
yeah,
her fiance.
People on social media have not been kind to their coupling, as
Yeah,
Gwyneth
and-
Paltrow would say.
But, another thing about couples and things is talent is attractive.
Yeah.
And apparently he's mega talented.
yeah. Again, I don't know her personal life.
Oh.
But also, Ariana Grande caught shit the same way because she's dating SpongeBob. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
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 Which is
SpongeBob.
a reach. He will always. I know he was Bach in the movie, but he will always be SpongeBob.
I don't know that. I feel like I've started off really great with talking about nothing but unpopular opinions.
Yeah, sure.
And I would like to continue that.
Sure.
And I'm just saying, I get people should be happy in life, and I'm not here to take away anyone's happiness. But am I the only one that's just over Wicked? Like, for crying out loud, people. Like, they're just so... Everything is just like, no, you're the most wonderful person. No, you are. I just love everything about you. And then like every time, and it's everybody in the cast.
Yeah.
Somebody was giving a speech, and the whole time, like Jeff Goldblum is just sitting there holding his heart, like,
It's what happens when you bring an entire cast together of people who feel.
God,
They all feel.
I
so
have
much.
feelings too. You do.
Do we?
Do we,
I
Caitlin?
don't
Do we
know.
have feelings?
A
A little bit. Okay.
Just a little bit.
I just, I mean,
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo feels so much she had to have 3 hearts printed on her chest. Did you see them? They have her little hearts on her chest.
Oh no, I
right?
didn't notice that.
You should Google it and put it up there so that you can see. I'm right? Unless now
It's got a
somebody's
fog
gonna
in
be
my
like,
hair.
real nice asshole. It's a birth defect.
Was it like a tattoo or was it part of her
I think
dress?
it was just like makeup.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I don't know. Anyway, so back to the jokes. I
Yes.
thought she started off perfect when
Yeah.
she said that it was Ozempic's biggest night.
Yes.
I got to tell you,
I adore her.
where she said we celebrate the best, of film and hold space for television.
Yeah. I wrote that one down. I like that joke.
She was really good. Yeah.
Oh, it's like a necklace.
Is it a tattoo or is it just? Oh, okay.
Oh, I couldn't see if there was a chain or something on it.
No.
Oh, no, it looks nice.
Yeah.
I did enjoy her saying about Eddie Redmayne's show on Peacock, saying that she has seen more actual peacocks in her life than shows on Peacock.
I like
me
to.
up.
I got to tell you, I like Eddie Redmayne. I like that he laughed at the jokes. I thought that was really classy.
Yeah, and I will say this, because I don't really talk much to the fashion, because I don't give a shit about the fashion, but a lot of the guys took a lot of risks with their fashion, and they all were stupid and didn't pay off. And I'm talking about Jeremy Strong, and I'm talking about
Holy shit!
Adam Scott, and I'm talking about Eddie Redmayne.
What the? What?
He's auditioning to be a Beastie Boy, I think.
Who? I understand that Jeremy Strong is not the character that he played in Succession, but he must have friends.
Yeah.
Who said yes?
Well, you
Do
know
this.
the whole backstory with him on Succession with the method acting.
Yes.
I just think he hasn't.
Is he
let that
auditioning for a
character go.
role?
I don't know. He did play. Who's the guy?
Is there
Trump's
a
lawyer.
yes?
Roy Cohn.
Yeah,
He
Roy
played
Cohn.
him in the movie, so I guess a little bit of that douchiness is still there.
That's just not douchey. That's like, hey, let me wear some exaggerated costume that resembles Run DMC from the 80s.
Yeah.
But, it was so weirdly out of place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even understand.
I
He's
just-
a really good actor.
And I don't want to be like traditionalist, but I feel like award shows are about women showing off their beautiful dresses and guys wearing their boring black tuxedos. We don't want to see you be experimental with your clothes.
Who was it that had that like thing that?
Oh, Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Which ended up falling. Do you see when
It was like a little broochy
he got up
kind
there
of.
and his old brooch fell off? And I was like, see, even God doesn't want you wearing that.
He's a really good actor too.
Adrian Brody, can I tell you something? I believe you when you say that, but I have Adrian Brody hate goggles on my entire life, and
Really?
I don't know what it is about him. You know what I think? It's back when he won his first Oscar
For the piano.
for The Pianist, yeah. And he went up there to
You
get
said
his
pianist.
Oscar, and he grabbed Halle Berry and kissed her without her permission. And ever since then, I have had a major ick about him. And then I saw a couple of interviews with him afterwards, and he was trying to be that cool guy. Like, I'm the youngest person to win Best Actor Oscar, and I'm going to go on MTV, and look how cool I am. I'm hanging out with Diddy. No, thank you.
The Diddy jokes were good.
Yeah, the Diddy. I did enjoy.
They were good.
Everybody's going to Stanley Tucci's house. We're all going to wear olive oil. Loved it.
Nikki Glaser,
I'm
you
hoping
were
when I see the Brutalist.
fantastic.
I'm hoping when I see the Brutalist, it changed my mind. But I have just had a bad taste from Adrian Brody since that.
I get it, because I'm going to bring up somebody that I had that happens to me, where I think 99% of the time I am 100% able. 99% of the time I'm 100% able to disassociate from the personality of the person and just enjoy their art. And I think for me, he's just really good, and he plays different types of roles. He's not the same person over and over again, and I like that. And I can say that, but having said that, I'm going to watch this because I'm going to try to work through these emotions, because I'm probably wrong.
It's the best way to overcome your fears.
Here I go again, saying the wrong thing. But I can't stand the success of Kieran Culkin.
No,
Yeah.
I love Kieran Culkin.
I don't understand why. Because like this, I get like this. How do we say it? Like this. Oh, I'm smug because I'm actually hurting inside, so I'm gonna come across as a douchey, smug person when really I'm what's the word I'm looking for?
Mentally
Insecure.
Oh, insecure.
And so I'm insecure, but I'm gonna come across as I'm super confident and douchey. Like that's what to me, that's what all of his characters are. And then that's what his speech was, because it was like, I'm gonna say this thing, like, oh, I'm gonna say this thing that's kind of sarcastic and everything, but I'm gonna quickly say under my breath, oh, that's because I'm working through that with my therapist, and it's supposed to be endearing, but to me, I'm missing it. So I was thinking I'm going to go back and watch all of his movies and see if I got to prove to myself that I'm wrong, and that he plays other things, and that it's not just typecasting.
Yeah.
Because he was nominated for a Golden Globe when he was a kid.
Yes, as a child actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to go watch that movie, but I don't think I'm going to like that movie. Did you like Igby Goes Down?
I don't think I ever saw Igby Goes
That's
Down.
with Robin Williams and Ed Norton.
Death to Smoochie.
Oh, that's Death to Smoochie.
Yeah.
So Igby Goes Down is a different movie.
Yeah, because
Got
I
it.
don't know.
See?
I've heard of Igby Goes
I'm
Down, but
already
I've never
proving
seen
myself wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give him a chance.
But
so
since
I'm gonna...
you asked, I love Death to Smoochie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I love that movie. And I know it caught a lot of shit back when it came out.
Is that
and it
the
got
one-
horrible critics? That's the one where
Is that the one where Harvey Firestein said something to Ed Norton in the car?
yes.
And Ed Norton doesn't talk to him anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the movie.
Okay.
Jon Stewart's in it. Robin Williams, Edward Norton. It's so good. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, he comes across as somebody who does feel like he's trying to get people to like him, but I do find him charming and endearing.
But see, I think that's probably what it is, and I pick up on that. He comes across as somebody who's trying to get people to like him. When if you were just yourself, people probably would like you. You have to try.
Yeah, you're living in the real world. He's living in Hollywood.
That's true. You know what? And he's
you
like
have to
mega
handle
rich.
things
He's
differently.
super
Yeah.
talented. He's winning all kinds of awards. So he'd probably be like, "Who the fuck
I
said
will
this
say,
about
and you
me?"
watch Succession.
Yeah.
There was so many people saying that both of them are trapped in their characters because they were both nominated in the same category. And when Kieran Culkin won, Jeremy Strong did not look happy for him. And I was like, do you all hate each other in real life? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I think it's hard for them to
Can
let
Jeremy
go of those
Strong
characters.
sing?
I don't know.
Because he could be a contender for an EGOT if he could sing. But you don't have to sing. All he has to do is read a book and he'll
Yeah.
win a Grammy
Oh.
for that.
I know he raps.
So no offense
raps-
to people
he
who win
rapped in
Emmys
Succession.
for. He
So
did.
we know he raps, and he dresses like a rapper.
Maybe he's
from the
just a huge
90s.
fan of rap,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
why
Probably.
it just didn't.
No,
It was a cry for help.
I'm Team Ronan in this one.
I mean, if I had to pick between the two,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to hang out with Kieran Culkin. I get that sense of humor.
Do you know what I think it might be? The guy, Brian Cox, who played the father.
Yes.
He recently did an interview where they were talking about. Also, he's pro Kevin Spacey and him being able to come back and act. By the way, just that has that to do with the conversation.
We're gonna let that live there and move on.
But they were doing an interview and they were saying, ask him about his relationship with the actors and actresses who played his kids. And there was that big thing about Jeremy Strong being a method actor and Brian Cox being like, I just don't get it. And I used to tell him all the time, just knock that shit off. And they asked him I can't remember how they phrased it, but it was basically, who was your favorite kid on there? And he goes, Kieran Culkin, definitely. He goes, I love that guy, and I would hang out with him all the time. And I think Jeremy Strong read that interview, and he's like, Dad, why is he your favorite?
Yeah, right. That's art imitating life.
Yeah. So I think he's just pissed that he's not Dad's favorite.
I get it.
I
get it.
So
Okay, so do you want to go through the awards?
yeah,
or?
sure. Because I have some things to say. So the first one they gave was Best Supporting Actress for film, and Zoe Saldana won for Emily Perez.
Yes. And I'm so excited that she did.
I love her. Super
But-
fucking emotional.
Super emotional.
Pull yourself
and
together, girl.
I think that so is this is the drinking awards.
Yes.
So everyone was drunk.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
and
sure.
so after she won that
Except
award
those who are in recovery.
and recovering.
Which
unless
Kieran Culkin is, I believe.
um
Oh, no, he's not. He took a shot of tequila.
with
Mario
John Stamos or Mario
Mario
Lopez,
Lopez.
which maybe he was making a joke. He just wanted people to like him, so he made that shit up. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Didn't see him do it, but I did see that Mario Lopez was doing shots of tequila
Oh,
with
okay.
people as he was interviewing them.
So yeah, she was great, but here's my impression, right? Making all this up is that she won that award and then was like, I won my award right off the bat. I can get shit
Are you going to
faced.
talk about the song?
And then she was shit faced for the rest of the fucking show, and then it became the Zoe Awards.
Yes.
And every time anything happened in that show, it was, I'm gonna go. She just walked up on the stage and said, I'm gonna give them this award.
Yeah.
And she took it from the presenter and then gave it to them.
It was so
she's
weird
like,
because
I think somebody even told her not to go up there. It
you
looked
could
like
see
somebody was
Selena
like-
Gomez was like, where are you going,
yeah,
honey?
no, it's not you're not winning the
Yeah,
award.
I
the
think
writers.
in her drunk mind, she was thinking, "Oh, I sung the song in the movie,
So I win."
This is my award too." So she got on stage because obviously the songwriters have to sit in the second tier; they don't sit in the front. So she got up there before they got up there, and yeah, she took the award from the presenter's hands, and then gave it to him, and then stood up there, and then halfway through realized, I don't think I'm supposed to be up here, and then went and stood with the presenters instead of with the.
But then the woman accepting the award said.
They referenced her, yeah,
referenced
she
her,
sang that
and then
song.
they started looking around, and she goes, "I'm right here."
It was super
It was
weird.
it was pretty cringe. There was a lot of cringe about this. So, but to go back to the thing when she was talking, and she was talking and she was crying, and then she was done. So they started playing the music.
Yeah.
And then she remembered that she didn't
She didn't thank everyone.
everybody. So she didn't just say everybody's name. She would say a name and then say thank you.
Yeah.
And then she'd say a name and say thank you.
And then she'd be like, no, stop,
Yeah, stop. And then she kept going,
stop.
and then she would say something, and then she would start crying, like bawling, and then she would immediately stop and then say another name.
And then say another name and then start bawling. Now, granted, I have never accepted an award in front of an audience of millions watching around the world. So I'm sure I would be equally as crazy and bonkers as she was. But yeah, somebody really should have not let her drink until she started her award, because I'm pretty sure she started early.
All of the crying, this is the only thing that I could write down. And congratulations, by the way. So deserved.
deserving.
And
So
I'm
good.
such a fan of hers. I
And
really
probably because of this, gonna win the Oscar.
The Lioness is such a good show that she's in. She's so good at it.
Oh, I
She's,
need to start watching
and she's
that.
very versatile, and really great. But I just wrote, Jeremy must be so uncomfortable right now.
Oh my God, I was watching it alone and I picked up my phone and went on TikTok. I was like, let me know when you're done.
There were so many times where because Jen hates when people talk, and or when it's unscripted,
Yeah.
and she just put her face in her hands and she's like, make it stop.
I don't know who's writing the banter between the presenters, but get a new writer. Because the banter was awful all night.
I don't know who made the comment. Was it Seth Rogen who made the comment of like, what the fuck is up with these camera angles? Or because it's like right up in their faces. But they could step back a little
because
bit.
their stage comes out and like people sit around the stage. So you're like doing theater in the round. And they, instead of having them talk directly straight ahead, they had some people talk off to the left side of the crowd, some to the right side of the crowd. It was real weird.
Yeah, but it was like the cameras were right up in their face.
Another weird thing that they did as they made the nomination, would name the nominees, they would do a full shot of the theater, and then little arrows would pop up with the person's face in the movie or show that they're represented, pointing to where they're sitting in the audience. Who fucking cares? I'm not there. I don't care where they're sitting.
I did not pick up on that. I was not smart enough.
It was so annoying. And I was like, just show, like, normally it would say, Zoe Saldana for Emily Perez. And then they cut to like a quick clip of the movie and then cut to her sitting and everybody applauding. But they just had the entire time, it was just the full theater. And they were like, Zoe Saldana. And then a picture of her would pop up. Like, when you're on Google Maps and there's like a Barnes & Noble near you and there's like a little boop, Barnes & Noble is here. That's what it was. It was like a Google Maps of the Golden Globes. And I don't care where they're sitting.
I read an article where Nikki, is it Glasser or Glazer? Glazer. Where Nikki Glazer was talking about her act and that celebrities shouldn't be nervous, but they should just laugh with it and roll with it because they're like put on a pedestal and she's going to just show the human side of them and they should roll with it. And that way people will find them more endearing and more human. And I was like, that's a good analogy or comparison of the Golden Globes. For the first time watching an award show, all I could think about are these are really just everyday people. Yeah. Like they're not these people. I mean, like they were all knocked off their pedestal for several different reasons, and one being no one could find the stage.
Yeah,
and it was so
but that's
weird.
Kind of that's always how because most of them don't have those big tables, and every year there's particularly if you're sitting in the TV section. You can't ever find your way to the stage.
Yeah, it's like, your prize if you get here is this award, and then you see like somebody was going, and they really was it the Hacks thing where the girl was just completely lost.
Baby Reindeer.
Oh,
because she was up on the set, and she came down.
I love her.
And she's kind of a big gal. And there was no room between those tables. And she's like, comes around and then she cuts this way. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me. And then like she tapped Nicole Kidman on the shoulder. So sorry. It's like, at least tell them, lay a path out. Yeah. Put tape on the floor, something. Let them know which way to go.
Yeah. And the other thing is that it was nice to see like the celebrities fangirling over other celebrities.
Oh, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. So her tapping Nicole Kidman on the shoulder probably made her laugh. And she's from that show Pride that we covered. So I love her. And I mean, we're going to get to it, I guess, or we'll skip her. Oh, no, it's coming in a couple. But she won for supporting female in a TV series.
Yes.
Jessica from Baby Reindeer. Anyway, when she got up on the stage, she almost tripped. And she gets to the microphone and she's like, oh my God, I almost tripped. You almost saw my Golden Globes. And I was like, I love her so much. Okay, so we're at female actor in a comedy.
One more thing I want to point out because it's something else stupid the Globes did. That could have been fun.
Get it together, Globes.
When the presenters came out, they had the names of the presenters, and then they had a fun fact about each presenter, and they were all stupid. It's like you didn't have funner facts. The only fact that I read that I was like, that's a fun fact, was at the end of the night when Nicolas Cage came out, and they said that Nicolas Cage has a pet crow named Hoover. I find that fascinating.
You weren't at all interested in so the cast of the new it was Elementary and now it's Sherlock. When they came out, the two people that are starring in that or something, it said what they used to do in their previous careers. And I was like, this guy was a bank teller and then this person was like a
that's not
massage therapist.
to me.
I was like, that's interesting to me.
No, I need better fun facts.
Well, I used to date somebody who ruined that phrase for me. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Because it taught me that when someone says that, they're usually going to not follow up with a fun fact.
That is true.
Yeah. Okay, so female actor in a comedy. That's where we are, right?
Went to Jean Smart for Hacks.
Great. I love Jean Smart.
I have not watched the latest season. I watched the first 2 seasons of Hacks, and I loved it.
I
just haven't gone back and watched the 3rd season yet.
I just recently... you're probably not going to like me saying this.
Sure.
But I learned this from the fun facts. But I wasn't aware that that's from the creators of Broad City.
Not the creators. 3 of the writers.
3 of the writers.
From Broad City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, fun facts didn't have it right.
Well, or I don't know how to read. I'll take the hit on that.
But yeah,
one.
the 3 creators of Hacks used to be writers on Broad City. And fun fact, the guy, because it's 2 girls and a guy, the guy who has some of the most beautiful eyelashes I've ever seen in my life, not gay. He looks
The guy?
gay. Yeah, acts gay.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I thought that was the whole shtick last time that they won at the Emmys was that he won. Or did we just assume he was gay?
I think we just assumed.
And we
but
just
I
said,
thought he
yay,
was
gay people.
And I looked him up, and no, married to a woman.
Okay, you brought up eyelashes, so I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
When Nikki Glaser said that Timothée Chalamet had beautiful eyelashes
Oh, yeah.
above his lip, I was dying. And then I thought this was funny too because it reminded me of the Uma Oprah thing, which landed for me.
The
Uma
Adam Sandler.
When she did a
hilarious.
spot on impression of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
saying Timothée Chalamet,
And then got Adam
It was
Sandler
so-
to say it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Well done. Best
Well
thing
done,
about
Nikki.
the Golden Globes.
I will say, I don't want to pile on to the guy because he got piled on enough last year. But that coy guy who hired last year, watch this. Watch Nikki. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, good for her. She went out there with the confidence of,
Yeah.
and I like the article I read too. She said, I'm not going to go out there and destroy people because she goes, this isn't the last time I'm going to host the Golden Globes. It's the first time. And I was like,
Yeah.
good for you, girl. You get out there and you tell them. So she was,
Even the stupid shit she did, like the Pope
oh my God.
Wicked song,
Popular.
cracked me up. I was like, please finish.
Yes.
I want to hear the whole song.
I would watch an entire parody that she did of Wicked before I'd watch Wicked again.
She is actually coming to the Hard Rock Live
Oh, yeah?
in June.
She's going to sell out now. If she hadn't already sold out, she's going to now.
She's doing 2 nights, and I'm going to try to go.
Yeah.
I love her.
Male supporting
Yeah,
in
that
a
was
movie, Kieran Culkin.
One thing I will say, whether you love him or hate him, what I love is because he wore a jacket going in, and then he took the jacket off when he got to the table, and he had a bunch of bands, those rubber little bracelets, and a bunch of little kid tattoos. And I read that his daughters did that to him.
That's cute.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was a big night for daughters of winners.
The Brutalist director, when he told his little girl she looked like she was maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
You have the most beautiful dress. I was like, oh,
And she started crying. I was like, oh,
that
it was so
broke me.
sweet.
I was like, that's a good
See,
dad.
we feel.
Good dad. He's a good dad. Then
Male actor in a
male
TV
actor,
series. Have you started watching this yet?
Hiro-
Yeah, I just wrote Shogun.
Hiroki Sanada.
Sorry,
I watched
Shogun.
the first 2 episodes.
Every time Shogun wins, it doesn't matter who wins it, it's Shogun.
Here's the funny thing is when it won all the Emmys, back when the Emmys were on, I was like, well, I got to watch this show. So I watched the first episode after the Emmys, but the Emmys ended like at 11:30. So by the time I finished the first episode of Shogun, it was almost 1 a.m. I was like, I got to be at work in the morning. And I just never went back to it.
But was it good?
So the first episode was really good.
Okay.
So last night I watched the second episode. So if it wins Emmys later on this year, I'll watch the 3rd episode after the Emmys.
It's on my list.
It is. What
there are
I
3
watch
shows.
is really good.
Yeah.
And apparently, because I was looking at past Golden Globe winners, And apparently it's a remake of a show from the 80s. And in 1981, it won Best Drama, Best Actor, and Best Actress. So it won the same 3 awards. So I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Then Kathy Bates. I love Kathy Bates. Can I just say she looks fabulous? And I know that she's all shaky, but I think it was nerves.
She looked beautiful.
But she looks so good.
Yeah, I'm such a fan. You know, and they were right. The guy that was up there with
Anthony
her,
Ramos.
Yeah. Who also I love. Talking about how I'm standing next to a legend.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you are.
And this is one of 2 instances where I absolutely hated all the banter, but I love how Kathy Bates kept, like, he was like, do you know what I'm saying? She goes, oh, I know what you're saying. And just her doing old lady to his slang talk, cracking me up.
Yeah, she that was one where it really worked because she played it off. But most of the time,
it was just real cringy.
What was the most cringy one? Do you know? This is where I
feel like once you tell me what your cringy one is, I'm going, oh yeah, that was it.
I mean, I kind of alluded to it earlier. This is when I made the decision that I could not with Wicked anymore. It was with Michelle Yeoh and
oh no, I didn't.
Goldblum,
that didn't bother
and then
me.
they kept referencing like the other 2 that were like, I mean, just get a room already. Just kidding.
They were doing kid
I love
slang,
your relationship. It's nice that
and
you all
they
love
were
each
like,
other.
They kept looking at Ariana and Cynthia, and they're like, "Did we do that right? Did we say that right?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, you did." I thought it was cute. And then when he told Jeff Goldblum was like, "You ate that up and left no crumbs," I was like, "I thought that was funny." Okay, you're just a dad. That's your problem. You're just an old dad.
I'm a childless dad. Not a zaddy.
Not a zaddy. That's okay. There is only one zaddy.
The style of the bit, like the style of the bit itself was cute.
Yeah.
Yes, but the just this.
Oh, you know what the most cringiest was with me? And it's sad because I absolutely love these 2. Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. When they're talking, because they're like, it's my week. And it's like, okay, first of all, if you haven't seen The Substance, you have no idea what how these 2 ladies are talking about. Yeah. And it just, they weren't committed to the bit. And they were just like, it's my week. No, it's my week. But I'm nominated. And it's like, just get to the awards, girls.
I got to tell you
Come
that.
on.
I love Demi Moore.
I love her so much.
I love her. And I love her so much
her
more.
Her speech was amazing.
Because of that. I love her because of that. I forget the other lady's name.
Margaret Qualley.
I watched her on the red carpet, and she was talking about Demi Moore, and she said working with her is incredible because Demi Moore is a human being that has spent her life working on herself on the inside and out. So inside, she is well put together, and outside, she's beautiful. But I've always been a fan, right? I'm from the St. Elmo's Fire time, and I loved her in that, and I loved her in A Few Good Men. I've always been a fan of Ghost and all that.
Jane,
and I think
very good movie.
And then she stopped being in things so much, but she was in The Juror. I liked The Juror too. That was a movie where she was a juror.
With Alec Baldwin.
Yes.
Oh, that was a good movie.
I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
So everything she's in, I've liked, but she kind of fell off the face of the earth. And I mean, to me, in the things that I've seen, and then like she pops up in Swan, and in Swans, she was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And then to see that she got this movie, and it's like Nikki Glaser made a comment about how when women are older and they're being recognized for the work they're doing, they call it a comeback.
Yeah.
But I forget what she said. It was a joke, and she said for men they call it something.
Oh, they get to play. Who's that girl? Sweeney.
Oh yeah,
something Sweeney.
They get to play
her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney.
I didn't understand any of that meant. So
Sydney Sweeney is in her 20s. And old actors, they're that old thing in Hollywood where when you have like a romantic comedy or even a romance movie, the actor is always like 20 years older than the female lead.
Oh, okay. But I think I love her. So when they were doing their little banter and everything, and then they go away and they show the nominees and they come back, I feel like for Demi Moore, it was like, she's just like, oh my God, I'm on this stage as a presenter, and it's been forever. And she's just like looking around saying hi to people. Yeah. And the camera comes back, and
she's like,
her back's to the camera, and she's like, hey. Hey! And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't love the
so-
banter that was written for
No,
them.
I get it.
They both deserve better. But anyway, Kathy Bates and Anthony Ramos gave away Best Supporting Actress and Best Supporting Actor for a limited series. And that's Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer one, and Tadandabou Asano for Shogun. Who was shocked. Just like he was, you know how when they rank, like it's like, oh, here are the 6 nominees, and they rank them like the likelihood to win. He was at number 6. Like there was no one who thought he was going to win. So when they called his name and he looked like he was going to pass out, I think no one expected him to win.
Yeah, I think he didn't use a translator. He had broken.
No, he had broken English, and he was like walking up and kept bowing to everybody. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah, I really liked that. I mean, yeah, I gotta say, I just thought the whole show in general was good.
Yeah, it was very breezy and lighthearted.
Yeah,
not a lot of drama.
It was very
nice.
sincere, and I really appreciated that. I mean, except for like, let me just say. Jean Smart won, and she just kind of got up there and was like, thanks.
Well, Jean Smart, I think this is the 3rd year in a row she's won. So when they start winning multiple years in a row, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
In fact, a famous version that happened of that is back in the 90s. Candice Bergen won Best Actress in a Comedy 5 years in a row for Murphy Brown, and then pulled herself out of contention. She goes, I don't need to win anymore. Give it to somebody else. So for the rest of it, she refused to put her name in, which is probably what Jean Smart should do.
Do you think so?
I don't know. She's won so many.
Because here's the deal, right? Like, and somebody else said it that won an award. They said I couldn't be up here winning this award if the writers weren't amazing.
Yeah.
So I think if they're not going to get the chance to win, like if somebody else wins, then her winning, that she has the opportunity to get up there and recognize the work that everybody else is doing that makes her look good.
Yeah,
so I think it's important.
There were other people I wanted to win other than Jean Smart who I thought deserved it more.
Was it Io? Are you upset that comedic performance
I
didn't
actually
win?
really like Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary.
Everything about Abbott Elementary is fucking great. It really is just brilliant.
I'm not saying she's the best part of the show, but I would like to see this show win something. But Selena Gomez in Only Murders, the show never wins anything, and it infuriates me.
I feel that the no-brainer award for that is Martin Short.
Yeah.
He deserves to win. He's so... Oh, my God. Another
the next award is going to piss you off then?
No, the next... I was just going to skip it. The next... or the joke Nikki Glaser made about... it was at the beginning, and she says, oh, it's this, so it means this. And then she goes, and there's cameras here, so and it means Martin Short's here, or something like that. It was... hilarious. He is so
everyone on that show, he's so deserving.
Like he's like campy, and I know it's his shtick, and he does it so well. And I didn't appreciate him when I was in my 20s, but I've always love him
ever
now.
Since Three Amigos. Me and my brothers watched that show
Are we allowed to watch that show and like it now?
I don't know, but when we were kids, we were like 7, 8 years old. Obsessed with it, and we would do the thing, three of them, where you would cross your arms, then grab your hips and thrust.
Yeah,
as children. But I've loved Martin Short ever since.
Yeah,
then.
I mean, with Jen and I talk about it all the time because we used to love that movie, and we're like, is that okay? I have to go back and watch it and see if because I used to say this all the time, like somebody would say like they had a bad day or they would complain about something, and then I would say everybody's got an El Guapo, and and it would make me laugh, and I'm like,
it's that movie is why I know what the word plethora means. Would you say I have a plethora of gifts?
I'm gonna go back and watch that. Okay, so where were we?
Jennifer Coolidge came out to present Best Actor for a Comedy TV show. Jeremy Allen White won.
Too bad she didn't do it. She was funny, though.
She was good. She was fun. Yeah. She's always funny, though.
Yeah.
And I knew as I watched this, I was like, Rick must be so happy right now. Jeremy Allen White was not there to accept the award, so he didn't get it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I hope he's okay.
I'm
sure there's a really funny reason.
Here's something that'll make you happy, because it wasn't a comedy either. In my watching of Law & Order SVU, he's in an episode, I think of season 9 or 10, somewhere in there, where they call him Pizza Face because he's got terrible acne, and he is a I can't remember what the word is, but someone who gets turned on by fire. And Stabler's got him in there questioning him in the interview room, and he's got a garbage can on the desk, and he's lighting matches. Every time they light a match, he looks like he's orgasming. He's like, oh God. So then he lights the garbage can on fire, and he's like, oh God. So, funniest thing I've ever seen that man do. And he wins comedy all the time.
I'm just sitting here trying to decide if I'm entertained in a funny way by what you just did or disgusted.
That means I'll win best comedy.
I think we just heard Jeremy's own noise.
Oh no, that was me acting. Well, Jeremy, the other Jeremy's.
Face.
Mine's
now,
very different.
I have to ask questions.
Sure.
Was it makeup that made him have pizza face?
Yes, it wasn't
Okay.
like he came in to act and they're like, "Hey, you've got a lot of acne. We're gonna call you Pizza Face." It was makeup. It was his character.
Can I tell you a story?
Sure.
Middle school. I'm in shop class, right? Because we had shop in middle school, and I'm sitting there, and I was friends with this kid, and my name is Rick, Ricky, and his
Hi, Rick. I'm Jeremy.
His name is Rick. Hi, I'm Rick. I'm an alcoholic, and his name is Ricky as well. I think that that's why we tried to force a friendship because we were both named Ricky. Anyway, he said while we were in shop class, he goes, "Hey, Pizza Face, do you have a pencil?"
Oh God, I didn't mean to dig up all these memories by telling you an SVU story.
When you said, maybe that's why I subliminally hate that show. When you said Pizza Face, I immediately was back at that table like, oh God. And it made me laugh because I'm just like, what a terrible thing to call somebody who has so much acne and they're so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like we don't know, right? Like we don't have mirrors. Anyway, I had a horrible acne when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious too. I use that apricot face scrub daily, so it's sort of leveled it out. But it was so bad when I would go out in public, women would stop me and they would say like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to sound offensive, but as a mother, I just want to say this is what you can do to help that on your face, right?" God. And it was like I couldn't go out in public without somebody trying to stop me and tell me. It was so bad. Like it was, and it was cystic, right? So it wasn't like little pimples; it was huge pimples. And there was so many crazy things that people tell me. I mean, this one isn't so crazy, but they were like, "You should take zinc pills." So I took zinc pills. One woman was like, "You should put egg yolk on your face and wash it off." And then, so I've like obsessed over this idea that was going to work. And I used to go to bed at night and I would put egg yolks on my face and go to sleep and then wake up and wash. I tried everything that everybody said. None of it ever worked. So here you go. If you're listening to this and you have cystic acne on your face and your shoulders and stuff like that, and you're like, what do I do? And I don't know what medicines are like today, but back then it was like this retinol stuff that you would put on it, which means if you went into the sun, I lived in Florida, and like it would just scorch you and your face would just be red. And so you would have these cystic acne and your face would be red and it would just stand out. It was horrible. Anyway, gold bars of dial soap. When I went to a doctor in my 20s and it was like I still had huge acne problem. The doctor was like, "Does anybody ever tell you to just use antibacterial gold dial? Like nothing with fragrance, nothing with anything in it, just that." And I mean, I swear to you, 2 weeks later, it was gone. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, where were you when I was in the 8th grade? Because I really could have used that. But anyway.
Yeah. Mine, I had bad acne in high school. But it was around the time that Proactive started becoming popular.
I couldn't afford it.
And I ordered, my mom and dad got me Proactive and it went right away. And I used that my entire high school career.
This is another example for you to write down about like you saying, "I thought I grew up poor, but I hear you talk." And I'm like, oh, no, there was a girl that had acne as bad as me. And when I was in my 20s and she was in high school or like right out of high school, and we both worked at SeaWorld, and that's when the shots came out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She took a shot of something, and it cleared everything up, and there was just no way I could afford it.
Yeah.
So those right, poor people just have to have acne.
I still remember that commercial, $39.99 per month. And I was like, "Please get it for me." And they're like,
"What am I, a
"Anything
Rockefeller?
for you, baby?"
Who has $39.95? Now I sneeze 35.9.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, where were we?
So then we got best screenplay, which went to Conclave. Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as a script goes,
Yeah, it's
sure,
a very
it
talky
probably
movie.
it probably
the
deserved
best
it.
thing about Conclave was the dialogue.
I don't remember what else was in there, but I probably enjoyed the other.
Brutalist, Honora, which won nothing at the Golden Globes, which a lot of people were like, I can't believe, because that was the front runner in a lot of categories. It won nothing.
Then best stand-up.
Best stand-up, which I've tried to see as many movies and TV shows as I can. This is the only category where I have seen everything that was nominated.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Did you think Do you think she deserved
Absolutely
it?
not.
Oh really?
Everything that got nominated, I thought was better than
Oh really?
Ali Wong's. Yeah, not that it was bad, but I didn't think it was anything spectacular.
Ali Wong is the beef lady.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was-
know if she likes it when you call her that. But yeah, she is
well,
the beef
I
lady.
don't think she likes it either when you say that everybody else is better than her.
I mean, she won last year for Beef, which I hear is great. I still haven't watched it. It's on my
It
list.
is so good.
But everybody else's, particularly, I thought Jamie Foxx's was really, really good.
See, I wrote down Jamie. I wrote down watch Jamie Foxx's thing because I don't know what it's about. It's about his near-death experience.
He's doing stand-up. He
But
used
they-
to do stand-up, but yeah, he talks about that. But he also plays the piano. He sings some songs. It's like just a fun variety kind of show.
Oh, okay.
But it was really good. And then Adam Sandler's was also really good too.
Oh, I bet.
Because I love Adam Sandler's funny.
And for people, there are people I know that can't stand to watch Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
But if I see that Waterboy is on, it's what I'm watching.
I'm not. There are some of his movies I can't. My funnest fun fact about my mother is she is obsessed with Jack and Jill, the Adam Sandler movie where
really?
he plays the brother and sister. It is the dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life. My mother loves that movie.
I'm gonna guess that. I will say this though. In the world we live in today, there's probably a lot about Adam Sandler movies made like 5 years ago or longer ago that people probably have a problem with.
Yeah. I mean, and particularly in his career, he did that kind of stupid frat boy humor. So I'm sure there's a lot of
gay jokes.
Like Big Daddy. Love that movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Big Daddy.
Wedding Singer. I love
Wedding Singer is
Do you know
amazing.
isn't it ridiculous? I find this ridiculous about myself. I bawled at the end of that. Like
Wedding
for
Singer?
whatever reason, when they were on that plane.
Oh, and the song?
And
I love his
I
song.
just lost it because I just thought it was like the sweetest thing. And he's 51st Dates, right?
Yeah.
God, I love that.
That one was good too.
And you know what I watched recently too? Never Been Kissed. I know Adam Sandler isn't in this, but I love Drew Barrymore movies.
That movie, I rewatched that like a year ago. It's so problematic.
51st Dates?
No, Never Been Kissed.
Oh, Never Been Kissed. Yeah.
The teacher being upset when he finds out that the girl he's in love with isn't his student in high school.
Well, no, he was upset because
I know what
she
he was
was in
upset
high
about.
school.
I watch SVU.
Also, I watched that show and I was reminded that I was in love with that guy when I first saw it.
yeah.
The teacher. Yeah. And I thought that I mean, it's problematic that Arquette, what's his name?
Oh, yeah, dating a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
trying to sleep with her.
Well, he wasn't trying. You need to watch this movie again. She was trying to sleep with him, and he was pushing her away.
I didn't see him pushing very hard.
But because she was like, she put her leg behind her and said, "I want to have sex with you," and he said, "Let's go dance." So anyway, I love that movie. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can love the movie if you want. You're just going to have to talk to Benson and Stabler in the interview room.
All right, so there was non-English speaking movie, which
Amelia
went to Amelia
Perez
Perez, that we
won.
talked about.
Oh,
you
this
were
was
probably
one
excited
of my-
about this.
One of my favorite wins. Colin Farrell won for The Penguin.
One of my favorite speeches, because I love at the very end of the speech, he stopped to thank the lady that runs craft services.
Yes.
Because she did something special for him every time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it's great that he pointed
He
that
does,
out.
whether you like his acting or his roles or anything, he seems like a legitimate good person. Like, he would be like someone I would want to go have a beer. Well, I don't drink beer. Have a glass of wine with. Like, he seems like a genuine caring person. Also, he mentioned when he got up there that him and Adam Scott had been in a movie. He goes, my first movie that I did was with you. And I looked it up, and it is called Oh, where did it go? Drinking Crude. And he's right. You can't find it anywhere. I can't even find a trailer to the movie.
Oh, wow.
So then, then we had the weird Catherine O'Hara and Seth Rogen talking about Canadian porn bit, which
That
was very
cracked me
awkward,
up.
but there was some funny
Also, I
bits on
loved
it.
her dress.
Oh, yeah. I love everything about her.
Yeah.
And they gave it to Jodie Foster, which I'm happy Jodie Foster won. I kind of wanted the girl from The Penguin to win, but Jodie Foster won, and then Sofia Vergara was outraged. Maybe playing, maybe not. I don't know.
Then Andrew Garfield came out on stage. He looked so good, I thought.
Oh my God. I am in love with that
his
man.
beard was a little too big for me, but usually a beard at
And then
all.
he was like unbuttoned down to
He
almost
was
his
very
navel.
sexy.
God,
I
love him so
He had a sexy
much.
thing going on. And he is, didn't he make out with Stephen Colbert?
He kissed, I wouldn't say made out, but they kissed. And then he also kissed Ryan Reynolds at the Golden Globes a few years ago.
Yeah. I feel like
He's
I'm
keeping he's keeping that hope alive that I might one day be able to marry
I'm a big fan
him.
of his.
We're also less than a year apart in age, so it's like perfect. Anyway, they gave Best Actress and Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. This is where Demi Moore won for The Substance.
I
Gave
wrote
the
a
Best Speech of the Night.
I wrote a little note here. Challengers comedy.
Yeah, I mean, we could do an entire episode on should any of these be nominated in any of the categories they were in. Yes, Challengers was submitted as a comedy,
Okay.
which I guess there's some funny in it, some fun stuff, some funny naked stuff. When he says, "Get your racket away from me," when they're in the sauna, that was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
He's talking about his
I get
penis.
it that dramas can have jokes in them, but
Yeah, it depends. They saw a better chance of winning stuff, I'm sure. But
we
Demi
getting
Moore
to the
won,
end? Yeah.
and then Sebastian Stan won for A Different Man. I have not seen that, but I saw the trailer. Also, does not look like a comedy.
he seems to me like he's somebody who's got something to say.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got a point to make when he talks. He's like, I'm going to make a point. I don't know if I appreciate that necessarily all the
I
time.
will say
But
that
he
I
seemed
feel
like he had
like
something to
Kerry
say.
Washington set him up for defeat because Demi Moore comes out and gives an amazing speech. I thought she gave just one of the best speeches I've heard in a while.
It was incredible.
And then she gets up there and goes, "I feel sorry for whoever has to follow that." And then they give out to Sebastian Stan, and he gets up there. And at first, he's like just thanking people, like, your normal. I'd like to thank my director in this. And then he had this look in his face like that got into his head. And he's like, now I have to say something meaningful. And he started talking about how art is important. And I was like, dude, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Don't listen to Kerry Washington.
And then he's like, "Oh, listen to another movie that was pretty good too."
Yeah. With that one douchebag, Jeremy Strong.
Yeah. So then Nikki comes out and she does this funny bit.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's like, they do the scorecard on who's winning in the acceptance speeches, and it's like,
Cast and crew got number one.
yeah,
And
cast and
11
crews had
non-
this many nods, and then she wrote, "God, creator of the universe, zero mentions,"
Which I will say,
was surprising.
I'm surprised not a single person, thank God.
I bet it's it's an Oscars thing, right? Where everybody thanks
It's
God.
a Grammy thing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's mostly the Grammys. Music people thank God for their talent. Actors thank their agents.
Oh, there was somebody that was nominated. It may be the one that's in the movie with Demi Moore. Is she married to or dating somebody who's big in the music scene?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is it a Fanning? I forget. Somebody was being interviewed on the red carpet.
Elle Fanning's married to someone, a band.
And they asked
lead of the
her,
band.
what's the difference between these events and like the movie and TV show award shows and like say the music award shows?
Yeah.
And she was like stumped. She didn't know what to say. But then she goes, food. She goes, they don't have food at those. And so I
Yeah.
guess her husband, she goes, he packs a snack bag to
They
go to
got
the award
cocaine, I
shows.
bet.
And olive oil. Or not olive oil.
Oh, baby oil. Olive oil at the Globes, baby oil at the Grammys, which is, by the way, I learned from watching the Globes on CBS, is in a month. So every other commercial was like, watch the Grammys February 2nd on this channel.
Right? I was like, calm down.
Yeah, we're going to watch
Grammys.
CBS. We'll watch.
Well, now I don't want to.
Well, we'll watch. And then
So then animation.
animation Flow won.
Have you seen this?
I haven't, but it's like last year. Like, I can't remember what movies it was, but everybody kept talking, that Spider-Verse was going to win. And then Boy and the Heron started winning all the awards, and they're like, oh my God. And that's what Flow is going to be.
It must be really good because I saw Wild Robot
Yeah.
and that was good.
I haven't seen Wild Robot yet, and I got excited this weekend because it's on Peacock. And then when I went to pull it up, it said, coming January 24th. And I was like, God damn it. I got to wait 3 weeks.
Me too, Wild Robot. Me too.
Anyway, then Michael Keaton comes out and he's slurring his words and he's mumbling a little bit. He had to be drunk, right?
I don't know. I was thinking that he was.
You want to talk about the cringiest moment? That was my most nervous cringe because I had a flashback to A Star Is Born. And I was like, please don't beat your parents on stage, Michael Keaton.
I may have been letting the dog out to the bathroom during that, so I may not have seen it.
You should go back and watch it because it made me very uncomfortable with how slurry his words were.
Also, he's
hope it's that
just
he
an
just had a
aged
few-
person. He's older.
Yeah, I just hope he's just because he's had a few drinks and it's not like.
And then I thought
setting
maybe
in.
he was sober, but then I'm like, no, he was just in a movie called Clean and Sober. So maybe.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if he's
don't
in
know.
recovery or not.
So then we got to
but
director.
The Brutalist won for Best Director.
He had a good speech.
Brady
I liked
Corbet.
him. Original score.
Went to Challengers, which I've only heard snippets from all of them, and Challengers is the only one that sticks in my head. So that should have won, I guess.
Yeah. You know what's funny is the guy, when he's giving his speech, he said something like he kept expecting them to give a callback that was telling him to lower the volume on their music, which I thought was hilarious.
Because you thought that?
No, because in the documentary that we had made, every time I saw a version of it, my first note was the music's too loud.
Yeah. And I like Nine Inch Nails. I used to listen to them back in the day, so maybe that's why I feel partial to Trent Reznor. But he won.
See, I don't know. I don't listen to them, and I have no idea. I had no idea that he had anything to do with Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, he's the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails. He
Fun
wrote,
fact.
I forget the name of the song. The one that Hurt. That
Everybody Hurts?
No, Hurt, the Johnny Cash one. I hurt myself today.
I don't know her.
You don't know Johnny Cash?
Just kidding.
Then we had Michelle Yeoh and Jeff Goldblum come out and make you very uncomfortable. For Best Original Song, that went to El Mal. That was the one that Zoe Saldana sang, and then she drunkenly stumbled to the stage, and we talked about that already.
So then, Van Weasel. No,
one of my favorite moments of the evening. Vin Diesel comes out, and he says, "Hey, Dwayne," to The Rock, and I was like, "Don't start no beef. It's not your night."
Was there a beef there?
There's a huge beef, but apparently, Vin Diesel, because he's been in most, if not all, I think, but one of the Fast and Furious movies, and they weren't like box office wise wasn't doing too well. And this was back when everything The Rock was in was like, made $1 billion. So the producers were bringing The Rock on, and Vin Diesel lost his shit, and he was like, "We don't need to have him
There's only
here."
room for one bald guy in this movie.
Basically, so they butted heads, and when The Rock was like, "I can't stand that guy. I'm not doing a movie with him," that's when they gave him the spinoff, and he did the Shaw and Hobbs, or Hobbs and Shaw. And then they started making comments on their Instagrams to each other, and basically said each other was a terrible actor, problematic, and they hated him. And then they ended up making up, but kind of only making up so that The Rock can come back and be on the Fast and the Furious. So there's very shaky ground between the two of them.
When he said, "Hey, Rock," and the way The Rock laughed, I was like, "That's not a
that was
ha-ha
not a
laugh."
ha-ha, hey there, buddy.
That was
a keep my motherfucking name out your mouth.
That was good.
Yeah.
I want to point out two things
Yeah.
because you just reminded me of it. And I know, this is not one of those, if you just smiled more, you'd be pretty. I just want to mention that it just seemed to me like his daughter was not enjoying the evening.
Who?
The Rock's
Rock's
daughter.
I didn't even notice The Rock's daughter was
She
there.
was sitting next to him.
Oh.
And I saw them on the red carpet. You didn't see them on the red carpet. So there was that, and also Harrison Ford looked to not be enjoying the evening.
Harrison Ford never, and I don't know if that's just his humor or the fact that the man is almost 90. he just doesn't look like he's enjoying anywhere out in public.
I mean, this was almost Tommy Lee Jones territory for me. Remember when Tommy Lee Jones was just angry at everything?
And you know what's funny is ever since then I have not seen him at an award show. I think that broke him.
All right. So then there was an
did
award that clearly the Golden Globes added so Wicked could win something.
Well, they added it last year specifically so Barbie could win something.
So Golden Globes added it last year.
Yeah.
Are you? Because then I thought maybe it was the Oscars that added it last year.
No, the Oscars added it 2 years ago.
Because
and then
Vin
they pulled
Diesel
it.
would have you believe that this was the first year and that he was announcing this for the first time.
Yeah, no. In fact, I wrote a note. I was like, this isn't the first year, Vin. You need to fix your speech. But no, they gave it last year to Barbie, and it was because that whole thing where it's like the big budget movies never win, and we need to do something for them. And that's initially why the Oscars were going to do it, and then people gave them a lot of shit, and they said, okay, we're not going to do it. And then the Globe said, well, if you're not going to do it, can we do it? And then they did it.
Yeah, and they did it, and then when it won, everyone involved in Wicked got up there. Yep. And at first, I was like,
they won Best Picture.
They did, and then I was like, calm down, Wicked. It's not a real award. It's like who sold a bunch of tickets award. And then I was like, you know what? Have your moment because it's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, I watch this YouTube pair. I'm pretty sure they're gay, and I'm pretty sure they're autistic. But they go by the name of Oscar Expert and Brother Bro, and they're kind of cute. But they were going over the awards who they thought they were going to win, and they call that the My Movie Made Money Award.
Yeah,
which is basically what it is.
Well, they had to pay for Ariana Grande's salary.
Yeah, it was the same as Cynthia Erivo. They put out a note.
Oh, really?
The studio had to put a statement out
because I heard it was
their shit. Because there was going around, and people were losing their shit online. So
fact check, people. Fact check.
Universal put out a statement, and they said, we don't usually issue statements on pay for cast and crew because it's nobody's business. But rest assured, both actresses were paid the exact same amount for both films.
$3.
$3.95.
All right, so then we go to limited series.
And Baby Reindeer won.
Gotta watch it. I haven't seen it.
I need to watch that, and it's queer.
Why are we not watching and talking about?
In fact, our new intern who started today did a write-up of...
What's queer about it?
He is bisexual.
Okay.
And the woman who's stalking him, she is bisexual. And in the series, he has a relationship with a trans woman.
Okay. So I love a true story, but when the
I need you to say allegedly with this because I think there's a
right, she's suing.
Right
yeah,
she's suing.
So I'll just say this:
it's allegedly real.
When in the fun facts, because they were not just showing you fun facts, they were telling you fun facts as they walked up.
Yes,
and they said that every email in this TV series was an actual email that he received, and that in the time frame of this movie, he had received 41,000 emails from the stalker.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I've got to watch this. So we should definitely plan on that.
I have it on my list, yeah.
All right.
Then Aquafina and Melissa McCarthy came out and did their weird little cringy banter.
That.
Thought it was too
I thought
cringy.
It was pretty funny.
And they did best comedy show, and it went to Hacks.
Yep.
And Eyelashes got up there and was like, I'm not gay. Then Coleman Domingo and Selma Hayek came out. I don't know. I love Coleman Domingo, but I don't know who's dressing him. I don't know what that tie was.
I think he is.
I don't know what kind of jacket that was. I don't dig his fashion.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
He's good. He's
I'm
really
sure he
emerged.
Goes, I really like your polos.
He's really emerged as a great actor.
And they did Best Actress in a television show.
She looked great. I love her dress. I just wrote Shogun.
Oh, wait a minute. Best Actress and Best... Oh, I put on the same line. Oh my God, I feel like when La La Land won Best Film, but it didn't. I have it on the same line. I was like, wait a minute, they didn't win.
Wait, Moonlight?
Anna Sawai won for Shogun. And then Shogun also won the next award, which was Best Television
TV drama. Yep.
I will say for the 2 episodes I have watched of that show, definitely a drama. So,
good.
Deserves the award. Then Viola Davis came out, which this irritated me because Viola Davis won the Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award for film, and then Ted Danson won the Carol Burnett Lifetime Achievement Award.
But they didn't bring him out.
But they didn't award them. What they decided to do this year was a couple of days ago, they had a gala off screen where it wasn't televised, where they gave the two their awards. I like the big, look back at their careers, and I thought that sucked. That we're not going to air you on TV, but you can come give an award.
Also, they didn't do it in memoriam, did they?
I don't know if the Globes do an in memoriam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that they normally do. But then Fernanda Torres won for I'm Still Here. She's only the second actress from Brazil to be nominated.
I love this fact.
In the award. This is a fun fact.
Yeah.
The first one was her mother back in 1999 for
25 years ago.
Station. And her mother's name? Also Fernanda. Fernanda Montenegro.
So I thought that was really cool.
Fernando.
Do you think that they hear the drums?
Fernando. That's what, Fernando, yes. But, I mean...
Somewhere in this world, someone is listening to this podcast and laughing at that joke. Because that was gold.
But I just thought it was weird that she has her mother's first name, and it's very similar to... So their name is Fernando and Fernanda. Anyway.
Caitlin, I can't sit here and teach you all about ABBA in one show.
So she won, first Brazilian actress to win in that category. And then they gave Best Actor, which went to Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, which I am going to go see, and I'm sure he's fantastic in it.
I do want to see it.
Then Glenn Close came out. I did make a note earlier. We didn't talk about this. Sharon Stone presented an award, and I was like, is she trying to get a cast as Norma Desmond? Because she was doing that wide-eye thing like Norma Desmond does in Sunset Boulevard, and she was freaking me out.
Jen pointed that out, too.
Yeah, it was freaking me out. And then Glenn Close came out. I was like, oh, no, she'll be Norma Desmond.
No, Norma Desmond is now young and beautiful. So
honestly, and you can quote me on this, I think that's how Glenn Close is going to finally win her Oscar. There has been talks of making a movie version of the Sunset Boulevard musical, and Glenn Close will be cast in it because she won the Tony for it back in the 90s.
I feel like there is a filmed version of Sunset Boulevard starring Glenn Close, but it's like a film of the Broadway production.
Yes.
Now, and I hope, just listen, movie gods, if you make this happen, awesome, please do. But if you do it, please do the original and not this new version that's out there.
If they're going to do it and they cast Glenn Close, it will definitely be the original version.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to put Glenn Close in a black slip and have her do the whole show barefoot.
That is how, because they keep fucking that woman out of her Oscar, I feel like that's the only way that she's going to be able to win her Oscar.
She's a great actress. Did you ever see that? Well, that's that movie that she did in like 9 days, I think it's called, something with Ashton Kutcher's wife or ex-wife, I forget.
With Mila Kunis.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of it.
I feel like
it looks
both
intense.
of them in that. I feel like that movie. Oh wait, she was nominated for an Oscar for that, wasn't she?
No,
Glenn
she
Close
got nominated for Hillbilly Elegy. Playing Mama. You know what movie she was in last year, and I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a possession movie, and okay, I'm going to say this, but only because this is what she says in the movie. But she gets possessed, and she has a black daughter in it. And she's like, Mom, what is wrong with you? And she looks there and she goes, I can smell your nappy pussy. Hearing that come out of Glenn Close's mouth cracked me up. It was all over TikTok. You should check it out. Hilarious. Anyway, she didn't win an Oscar for that either.
Just gonna move on from. So movie comedy or musical.
Yeah,
is that where we are?
Brutalist one.
Well, that was movie drama. So Brutalist one, movie drama.
Yeah. And then,
comedy or musical. It was like,
Emilia
is it gonna
Perez.
be? Is it gonna be Wicked? Is it gonna be Emilia Perez? And
yeah,
it was
Emilia Perez. I think most people thought it was going to be Emilia Perez.
And so this is the last award, right?
Yes.
And so this is a thing that I kind of appreciated, and that's that the director of the show was speaking in French, but just said, "We're grateful, thank you." But and I think she stopped translating at some point because he just basically said, "I'm assuming I'm done talking. I'm gonna let the star of the show say something and address all this crap that people are saying." And so she gets up there on the mic and delivers what I thought was brilliance. I just loved that she got up there and said, it was the last word she said. I am who I am, not who you want me to be.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect end to it. And I just thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she had was given that space to say that and address this whole thing, because I think that anti-trans sentiment is stupid, and I just don't understand. People get so mad about something that has so little effect on their lives and then lash out to really hurt people. And she's like, yeah, it fucking hurts. And I go through enough shit in my life. I don't need this, but I'm who I am and I'm good. So don't worry about it. Good for her.
Yeah. She was also wearing the Buddhism colors, which I thought was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it ended.
Yeah.
Credits rolled.
So look, we didn't plan on
So
this,
look.
but we talked a lot about the Golden Globes, so we are not going to continue this conversation. But which is great, because now I don't have to watch something else, and we're recording early.
Yes, because you're going on vacation next week.
I'm going on vacation next week. So we're going to cover Potato Dreams of America.
Dreams of America.
And we've already watched this, so you know we're going to do it. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
Go watch it and then listen to us next week so that you can play along.
Yeah.
Play along at home or in your car or while you're doing the dishes.
Yeah.
Or whatever you do when you're listening.
Whatever you want to do. It's your life.
Yeah. You are who you are and not who I want you to be. So it's whatever you're doing. It's fine by me.
You're rambling now, so we're going to. So we'll see you next week. And until then, the cork is back in the bottle.